Would you like to win some heat transfer vinyl? I had a company send me a package of regular heat transfer vinyl and glitter heat transfer vinyl, and they've offered to give away a bundle of each of those to 2 viewers. Now I show you the vinyl in today's video, and then I'm going to do a live here within the next 10 days. So if you want to have a chance to win those, make sure you're subscribed, click the bell, and then select the all notifications so YouTube lets you know anytime I upload new content. Now, I'm also going to post in my community tab when I've scheduled that, so watch for those posts as well. But I have a whole intro in the video, so let's get going. Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel's Making with Marilyn. Now, I do all things crafty, but on today's video, we're going to take a look at this heat transfer vinyl that I received from MerryMade. Now, they sent me 2 packages. One is just your matte vinyl. One is glitter vinyl. I've already used 1 sheet out of the glitter vinyl to make a shirt that I did on my YouTube channel a while back, but I really have not looked through these very well. So I want to see what colors are in here. Then I plan to put some designs on an inexpensive pair of tennis shoes. And then this wood blank that I got from the dollar spot at Target. And I just got this about a week ago. So we're going to start with this one, and I'm not sure if this is the glitter or the matte. So on the inside cover, they have some instructions as far as temperature and that kind of thing. And then there's a Teflon sheet in the front. And then in the back, there's a cutting mat. And that looks so much like a Cricut cutting mat. I have never used a non-Cricut cutting mat. I think I'll try this out and see if it works well. All right, so there's a little thank you note in there. And then the colors are gold, silver, and those are kind of metallic, black, and there's 4 sheets of black, white, and it looks like there's 4 sheets of white. Then we get into some beautiful colors. So I have a pink, a couple of reds, kind of a cranberry color, a really pretty purpley red, orange yellow, green, light turquoise, kind of a medium to light blue, light purple, bright pink, sky blue, a really bright kind of lime green, gray, and brown. So it's a nice variety of colors. I do like to have a variety of colors on hand because sometimes you need just a little bit of one color. You don't need a whole roll. Now with this pack, this is the one that I've already used one of the sheets out of it. I used a black glitter. It also came with a Teflon sheet and another cutting mat. Now here's a piece of the black that I have left. Then the other colors are this light rose, red, ooh, that is a beautiful blue, green, fuchsia, or kind of a purpley fuchsia, silver, gold, then kind of a coppery gold, and white. And then of course the black that I used. So I have a couple of designs in mind, one for the shoes and one for the wood blank. So let's go ahead and get started. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut those designs out, then I'll meet you right back here with my Cricut Easy Press and my Cricut Easy Press Mini. Okay, so here's the 2 pieces of vinyl for my shoes. And the first thing I did is I did a little test cut and I used glitter iron-on. That was the setting that I used on my Cricut. So let's go ahead and turn this over. The way I like to do this is to remove my mat from my vinyl. Then what I want to do is go ahead and cut pretty close around my design. Now, if I would have been thinking, I would have put a weeding box around this and it would have just cut this for me. All right, so let's see how this weeds. Hopefully fine, since my little test did well. All right, so the same way I always weed HTV, I just grab a piece of it in the corner and I pull up, and usually it just weeds beautifully. And this is weeding very nice as well, so I'm happy about that. So the red layer is going to be an outline. So I actually sliced a G and a T out of this, and so I need to pull out the inside. I could probably use this inside on something else. I'm going to go ahead and save these. Except I punched a hole in it. Let's take this one off without punching a hole in it. Didn't think about reusing or actually using these pieces until it was too late. But look how cute that is. I can easily use that on something else. No need to throw it away. All right, so this will be the inside of the G and the T. And hopefully it weeds just as well. Looks like it is. It's coming off really nicely. All right. So when I press it onto my shoes, and I don't know how well you'll see through this carrier sheet, but that's how it'll look on the white shoes. Now I'm going to use my little Cricut Easy Press Mini, and I have it set on medium temperature. And then I just have some fabric to shove in my shoes so that I can put pressure against it. Now I think I want to go ahead and cut these apart. Now when you are doing a design with glitter, you're not supposed to layer glitter on glitter. They say it doesn't stick very well. So that's why this outside layer was sliced. Otherwise, I could have just done a solid, ironed it on, put this on top, ironed it on. But since I wanted to use glitter, I used the slice feature in the Cricut design space to do this. Now, heat transfer vinyl can shrink when you heat it up. So there may be a tiny little piece of white or a strip of white that shows in the middle, but that's okay. That does not bother me at all. Okay, good. So that's really nice. Now to try to keep this from shrinking too much, I'm not going to heat it the whole 30 seconds. It says if you're using an iron or an easy press to do it 30 seconds. It says if you're doing it on a heat press, do it 8 seconds. So I'm just going to set my timer on the phone. And again, I'll take this off after about 20 seconds. And it does say it's a warm peel. It says don't let it cool off all the way, because it can be harder to get off. All right, I'm going to pull this up and see if I have enough heat and pressure so far to keep it stuck down, and I do, and that is cute. That's really cute by itself. I love that. But it's going to be even better when I put the red around it. So I want to take my time. Well, I'm going to let this cool down just a minute. All right, so I want to take my time to line this up, because I want to try to have the red layer attached to the shoe. I don't want it on top of the gold. Now this time I'll go ahead and I'll do both sides of this for 30 seconds. Then we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so the carrier sheet's already coming off a little bit by itself. I didn't have it lined up perfectly, but those are adorable. So cute. It's pressed on well. I love that. That is cute. All right, let me do the other shoe, then we're going to move on to project number 2. Okay, this is so funny, guys. If you watch me, you know I do a lot of rhinestones. There is a flock dot inside that shoe. How did that get there? All right, let's see if this is going to stay down. It did. I have one little area I'm a little concerned about, so I'm going to put my Teflon sheet back down and press just a little bit longer. All right. There's my new shoes. They're cute, and I work at a school, so these will be great to wear on casual Fridays, especially the day of ball games. All right, I'm done with this. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the vinyl for project number 2. And again, I'll meet you right back here. Now, I realize now that the little bee in my design is pretty tiny, and so there's some pretty intricate cuts here. Hopefully those weed out well. Then I have my black layer right here. And you can see the cut through that. It did not cut through the back. What I used was everyday iron-on with more pressure. And in the instructions, they said for a Cricut Explore series to use iron-on, and then there's a plus sign by it, so I assume that meant more pressure. So I just used the everyday iron-on with more pressure, and I think the cut looks pretty good. Now this is a really intricate cut. It might take me a while to weed it. I'll go ahead and start regular time so you see if it weeds well. And then because of how many details are in this thing, I'll probably just fast forward through a lot of this. But I am finding that this part's weeding really nicely. I love iron-on vinyl. It is so easy to weed. And even though you can use regular vinyl on wood, I love the way the iron-on turns out. To me, you have less worry about bubbles. It goes on more smoothly. It is easier to weed, which is a plus. And it's also easier to transfer. Now, I'm not done weeding, but I want to set it down and show you what it'll look like. Pretty cute. All right, so here's where I'm just going to fast forward through this weeding. Then when I get to one of the small cuts, I'll come back. Okay, y'all, so here's the base of the design, and some of these little black pieces are tiny. Like, look at the little antenna. That thing is tiny. Now, I accidentally ripped off a little black piece that was coming out this way, so I went ahead and cut off one of the pieces that was going this way so they'd kind of match. It weeded really nicely. It's just, those are extremely small details, and I wasn't careful enough. Now, before I spend a lot of time trying to weed these teeny tiny pieces out, I'm going to make sure this works well. So I'll go ahead and heat this to my wood blank. All right, that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to use my Cricut Easy Press, and I'm going to set it for 270. Then I think I'll go ahead and do each layer for about 15 seconds. Then at the end, I can do one last press if I feel like I need to. Now, since this wood is so thick, I don't have to put a pressing mat under it. I'm not worried about my table getting ruined because this is pretty thick. It's like 3/4 of an inch thick or so. So let's go ahead and start that. Okay, so again, it said it's a warm peel. Let me go ahead and see if it's starting to come up. Okay, it's not attached over here. It is over here. So my guess is my wood blank isn't flat. Isn't quite even. So if I have to, I'll get my little Easy Press Mini out so that I can get that attached to the wood. Hopefully this will work. And actually the next two pieces I'm doing are so tiny, I probably should just use my Mini. Now, I didn't tell you before, but each of the pieces of vinyl are 10 inches by 12 inches. Okay, it's coming up there. And so I am sure it is just that my wood blank isn't quite flat because it's attached beautifully over here. All right, this is just about up to temperature, so I'm going to go ahead and start using it. Now I have one piece here. I'm not sure if it's flipped the right side or not. We'll figure that out when we get to it. But I think I only need to iron things on this side. It is really nicely attached over here. So here's the one that got kind of misshapen, but it's okay. All right, let's see if that did the trick. And it did. Let me show you what I have so far. Again, I love using HTV on wood because it just melts into it. It becomes one with it. You don't have air bubbles like you do with regular vinyl or adhesive vinyl. I love that. Now that would be cute on its own, but we're going to see if I can get these little bitty pieces to cooperate with me so that I can add those. All right, again, these details are tiny. They're not as tiny as some of the black details were though. Okay, everything came out. That looks pretty good. Now, I would not want, well, it's not perfect. Let's fix that. All right, I'm going to call that good. Now, I don't want to put this directly on my transfer sheet because my transfer or my carrier sheet is tiny. And so the heat of this would be touching this other vinyl. I'm afraid it'd melt it. So in that case, I'm going to use a Teflon sheet, and I might have to press a few more seconds because, you know, the Teflon sheet is going to reflect or cause some of that heat not to go through as quickly. But let's see if that's long enough. I just need to tack it down for now. Okay, well that adds some cute detail. Now I have a brown layer. And those stayed down just fine. All right, I'm gonna feel and see if I feel anything that's kind of stuck up. That is really hot. Everything feels great. I'm gonna do one more press in the middle though. I have a couple layers there. And after pulling the transfer tape up or the carrier sheet up, I'm just gonna give that a few seconds of heat, and I think that'll be great. So there's my design, and I think it is adorable. I think the kids at school love that hanging up in my office. Now here's the two projects that I made with this MerryMade vinyl. The shoes have glitter vinyl. The wood has regular vinyl. It's all iron-on, and the projects turned out super cute. So if you're interested in possibly getting a package of the matte vinyl or the glitter vinyl for free, I'll put a post in the community tab, and of course if you have your notifications on, when I go live, you'll see that as well. Thanks again for joining me, and until my next one, bye-bye.